Whew, smells like mouse urine. Just moved for the first time in 30 years.
All right, I'm here in the historic town of Woodstock, New York. It was made world famous in 1969 by the namesake Woodstock Music Festival held in nearby Bethel, New York. Music, the arts, theater, and the spirit of the flower power generation live on in Woodstock until this day. And of course, one of the biggest icons of the 1960s that goes hand in hand with the flower power generation is air-cooled Volkswagens. So today I'm here with my friend Dennis from Vintage VW, and he's picking up this rare 1967 SO42 Westfalia split window bus. So it's been buried in this spot unmoved behind this junk since 1994. And at that time, the owners moved from New Jersey. But prior to that, it was driven cross-country from California in the 1980s. The SO42 camper could be bought in a few configurations, with and without the pop top, a roof rack, and an accessory tent that you could put up around the doors. And of course, it has a full camper interior, cabinets, and jalousie windows, which is a fancy name for glass Venetian blinds. Some features that stick out on these buses are, of course, the split front windshield, the barn doors on the passenger side. It's the first year for 12-volt wiring. This bus is also a walkthrough, meaning you can walk between the front seats to the rear.
Peter, yeah, I got a better idea. Let's check it out. Instead of pulling it from there, it'd make more sense for me to get in my truck, put it in four-wheel drive, and drag it out to the roadway.
Whew, smells pretty bad in here, like mouse urine. Pretty crusty. Look at those cobwebs. Moving. All right, well, this thing just moved for the first time in 30 years. That was fun. Trying to turn the wheel. I gotta get out of here. Pretty grim. Look at the floor.
Why you buy a four-wheel drive Chevy?
That was a fun ride.
That was cool, right? You know how long it would have took to come along there out of there? How many chains we would have?
Yeah, 10 years.
This bus is an original velvet green with the Bondo cracking off. It's non-operational. The tires are flat. 2 are falling off the rims, but the motor turns over and the frame underneath is surprisingly clean. It's weathered because it's sat outside, but the frame is not rotted. And the other great thing about this bus is that it's complete, all the hard to find parts. 67 was the last year for the split window bus and the last of the SO42s. A total of 12,800 were produced and 5,900 were made in 1967.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah.
Can you push those boards forward at all? Forward, yeah. In the back. Go to the back of the bus.
Yep. Yeah, I love being covered in mud.
This little mud's not going to hurt you.
It might.
I can't tell you how many are still on the road, but given how few were made, this is an extremely rare and valuable bus, even in its current condition. Getting out on the trailer is not an easy task because the wheels are flat, the tires are falling off, and the brakes are locked up. We could have knocked the drums out, pulled the brakes, and put wheels and tires on it.
Okay, it's sliding backwards.
That would have made it easier, but this bus has an enormous 46mm rear axle nut, and chances are that they're rusted on pretty good. So getting involved in a mechanical repair out in the field wasn't really worth it.
I feel like we're on American Pickers right now, Peter.
But yes, it is a struggle to drag it onto the trailer. It's big and heavy. It's a cold day. It's muddy. It's falling off the ramps. This isn't exactly fun, but the car restoration business isn't really glamorous unless you're at a car show or at a fancy auction.
Over, Peter. We've got the bus back at the shop. It's covered in a tarp, which I don't want to take off right now, but I'm just going to take a closer look at some of the details inside. And as you can see, it's got all the original paneling.
inside. There's that window on this other door, and these things they fold up. And that still holds in place. Snaps shut. Just put it down. And that goes down. And there's just a lot of debris inside. You know, it's been sitting outside for 30 years, so a lot of moisture, which causes mildew. And then on top of that, the mice moved in, so there's a very strong mouse odor. If you're familiar with that, you'll know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you're not familiar with mouse odor, but it just basically smells like urine in here. And there's just a lot of debris on these seats, which is a shame, because these seats are actually in nice condition. The vinyl's in nice condition, but I don't know if that can be cleaned up. Maybe pull the vinyl off and replace the padding. It's got the original curtains here. Curtain right there. And let's take a look at the pop top from underneath. So that just pops up and gives you some more headroom to stand up in the bus. There's no bed up there like the 70s bay window buses. They would pop up and there's a bed up there, but not on this particular model. And that's like the fresh air system in the roof. So let me walk up front again, if I dare. This looks like the original steering wheel. And that looks like the original speedometer right there. And there's a fuel gauge over there on the left. That's a fuel gauge. It's hard to tell. There's a closer look at the wood paneling on the door there, and that simple switch or handle to open the door. And the window doesn't roll down, it slides backwards. And then taking a closer look at the dash, there's a cassette deck from the early 80s or late 70s. So they might have cut a hole in the dash, hopefully not, in order to get that in. These seats are not the right year seats. I don't know what year they came from or where they came from, but these are high back seats with a headrest built in. These are not correct. It's pretty neat. Sink right there, I guess that's where you fill it up. I'm not really too familiar with buses. I'm more of a Carmen Ghia guy. There's a lot of nice little mouse turds on here. And here's another one of those shelves. This pops up. And that's actually in nice shape. From what I understand, there's a company called Just Campers, and they sell the full kit to replace everything, basically everything inside this bus. Certain things look okay, like this cabinet right here could probably be salvaged. This opens up. There's a nice mirror right there. I feel like a lot of the stuff could be saved, like those original coat hooks. All the glass, obviously. I don't see any reason why not to keep these original windows. You could just probably polish up. Maybe this should be replaced. It's a little rotted here in the corner. And this cabinet here, I don't know if anybody makes this. Oh yeah, look at that fridge. Nothing edible in there. But yeah, this bus, as crusty as it is, even in this sad state, it's still worth, I would say, $10,000, even unrestored. So once it's done, I really couldn't say how much it's worth. $60,000, $80,000. Sky's the limit. It's worth as much as someone would pay for it, but I think the owner intends on using it and enjoying it, which is really what it's meant for.
And that's a wrap. It was a cold and muddy day, but a fun day because there's a smile on the owner's face. It's not a Carmen Ghia. This isn't the normal content for my channel, but I will be periodically updating the progress on this project as it moves forward because it's so special. Become a subscriber so you don't miss out on a single video from Pete's Ghias, your #1 source for Carmen Ghia DIY and restoration on YouTube, according to me.